It was just like deep humiliation. And this thought of people seeing that shame, like just utter embarrassment.
In 2010, 20-year-old Angela Thorne had desperately been searching for love and feeling the worth she had once felt when she was a child.
I knew nothing but love, in that sense, and the kind of love that I feel like we were designed to experience.
Although she grew up in church and once had a deep relationship with God and her family, her parents got divorced. At just 10 years old, she struggled to make peace with what happened and began to search for ways to numb the pain.
I didn't know how to heal from that or how to release it, none of that. And so what ended up happening around the age of 10 is I started seeking out like the bad crowd, if you will. Like I had this sense of this urgency to be rebellious. It gave me this rush that numbed that pain.
By the time she was in middle school, she fell into the party scene where she became exposed to sex, drugs, and alcohol.
Even though it wasn't a good thing, I felt in control, even though I was completely out of control.
Unfortunately, things took a turn for the worst. At just 14 years old, she was raped. Just a year later, she was trafficked.
It was detrimental to my mental health. I went into the pit of depression.
Not long after graduating high school, Angela left home and moved into a drug house with the man she was dating at the time. She started working as a bartender, but soon realized she wanted more for her life. One night, while at a strip club with her boyfriend, a stripper approached her about working at the club.
She came and picked me up in her Corvette. Her lifestyle looked so lavish. She had this big house to herself, and she's just really making her lifestyle look glamorous and essentially telling me I could have all of this too.
Angela then became an escort.
It was just like deep humiliation. And this thought of people seeing that shame, like just utter embarrassment.
Angela then found herself pregnant and alone at the age of 22. She wanted things to be different for her and her daughter, so she left the sex industry and went back to bartending, where she eventually met Derek, another bartender who she connected with.
I would say it wasn't love at first sight, but it was like, this guy's different. And there was a moment where he took my glasses off and looked me in my eyes and told me how beautiful I was. And I had never experienced that before. It was the first interaction I had with a man that was respectable and honorable and kind. And it literally took that for me to shift how I thought about myself.
They dated for 3 years and married in 2017. Life was looking better. Then, in 2018, Angela discovered her daughter's father was neglecting her, forcing Angela to seek full custody. She lost, fueling her anger and disappointment. Soon after, she had a dream she had never expected to have.
I woke up that morning with this deep conviction to make amends with her biological father and we have to make this work. I almost was seeing him as Christ does, like her father, and I had a tenderness towards him. It was weird, and I say it that way because it was not that. I had hatred. I had deep hatred, and just the night before, and also in the midst of all that, I was like, we need to go back to church.
Angela and her family immediately started attending church and gave their lives to the Lord.
That was the first step. I would say I fell in love and I fully surrendered my life.
Today, Angela and Derek are continuing to make God their priority. She was able to forgive her parents, and through her ministry, Angela encourages other women to trust that God will bring redemption and healing to their circumstances.
that journey from that 7-year-old little girl to the 30-year-old me looked dark and mostly terrible, I am able to look through that journey and see a progression towards that ultimate surrender. I'm able to reflect and see God's hand in all of that because I'm still here. God is with you, and He wants nothing and desires nothing else but for you to just give it to Him so He can do what He does. And that's transform us, that's cleanse us and make us new.
The Bible says God knew us before we were ever formed in our mother's wombs. We came with intention into this world, and we came with God desiring us to become His, to be identified as His, children of the living God. And then there's the enemy of God, whose greatest joy comes from besmirching that image, from saying, that's not who you are. You know, it all started way back in the garden. Nothing has changed much. Did God really say, oh no, you could be like Him. You could be more than you are? He didn't mean that. You know, there are things that happen to us in our lives when we're children, and we can't control those things. In this scenario, Angela's parents get divorced. It shakes her world. It rocks her understanding. She's not mature in her faith in the Lord. And then the temptations start coming. And what the enemy is doing in your life and mine is trying to rob us of the identity of who we are as God's kids, God's children, God's people. And it happens with all kinds of things and ultimately brings us to a point of shame. We become disgusted with ourselves. In my own life, I often think, I know who I am without Jesus, and I'm not going back there. Now, I don't know where you are today in your life, but I know things have happened to you because that's the way it is here. We're on a journey. We're on a journey from where we came from to where we're created to go. And along the way, our destination is ours to make, our choice. God doesn't want anybody to be kept apart from Him. He doesn't do that. We do that by the choices that we make. But here's the great news. It's why they call Him the Redeemer. It doesn't matter what's been done to you, where you've been, how you feel, all the identity crisis you have. It's never, ever, ever too late to come back to the Father heart of God. The Creator of the universe waits for you. What are you going to do with that today? Dear friend, I mean, this isn't about our today, whether we're happy, and this is about eternity for you. What are you going to do with that invitation? You can wallow in your shame, you can wallow in your lostness, you can blame other people and wallow in unforgiveness. Or today, you can start the journey. You can say, yes, God. Yes, God, I choose you. Show me who I am in you. Show me what you created me to be. And friend, if you have unforgiveness, you need to go take care of that. Just like our guest talked about today, just like Angela talked about, when we forgive, the windows of heaven open over us and we find out not just who He is, but who we are. Don't miss that. If you need prayer, call our toll-free number. It's 1-800-700-7000. Here's a word from God for you. Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. God bless you.